By the way, we're live, but we can just do a cold open just talking about this a little bit, and then we'll get into introductions. Yeah, so, I mean, everyone knows Final Fantasy has been trash for years. And if anyone tells you, oh no, it's like y'all know good and hell well they have not been good for years. You know this. Okay? And some people will say, well, it's expensive to make games. Let me put it this way. You're right. It is expensive to make games, but it's not like it's not what this is right now. If you get my drift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's, like it takes forever to get one game out. Why? Why? Like Final Fantasy 16, that is not a Final Fantasy game. Come on, man. We all know what a Final Fantasy game is supposed to look like. That shit is not a Final Fantasy game. It's a platinum RPG.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with Platinum making an RPG, but that's not Final Fantasy though. And you know this, Like I grew up playing Final Fantasy. I know Final Fantasy. And, Final Fantasy has towns and villages and, you travel around the world. I mean, we know the Final Fantasy shuffle, which is the game starts, you play it, you get through a third of it, and then the world opens up. Like you get like a ship or a boat or a submarine. And then you get through that third, and then the final third, you get the airship. When you have the airship, the game really opens up. Then you're basically going around the overworld, trying to find the MacGuffins. You're doing the side quests. You're getting the ultimate equipment. You're looting caves and stuff like that. Now you get, and you're stockpiling Phoenix Downs, elixirs, and all type of stuff. So then you can fight the final boss. You can feel it. You can feel it in your bones. You get to the final boss. You get to the final boss, and, if you're like me, you stockpiled so much shit that by the time you get to the final boss, all that shit you stockpiled, you only, like, maybe you had 20 elixirs and like 8 mega elixirs. You use one of the mega elixirs and like 3 of the elixirs, and you beat the game. And then you get Final Fantasy 16, which is basically a beat 'em up hack and slash. This is not Final Fantasy. All right?
Yeah.
Made by Platinum. And I knew we were in trouble when Yoshi P's like, well, I think people should. What is Final Fantasy? I don't think turn-based. I'm like, why are you talking? It's like you're trying to. It's like you're doing apologetics, counter arguments for an argument that hasn't been made yet. Which, there's an old saying: a struck dog will holler.
Yeah.
An empty can rattles. It's like, oh, so this is some bullshit, and you're doing damage control before the fact. But anyway, hopefully Chrono Trigger won't be fucked up. Although Square Enix as it is right now, I'm not holding out much hope. But before we go any further, sir, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Carlos Benito. Glad to be here on another one of these podcasts. Haven't had one in a while.
Yeah. I've been having technical difficulties with my computer. I'm not sure why that is, but it's been that way. So I basically realized that I was getting tired of having my. So I've got like 2 gaming PCs. I bought one because some stuff happened to my last one. And so, essentially speaking, my other gaming PC, I updated the RAM on it. I went from 32 gigs to 128 gigs, but it's not posting. So I'm going to take it to a guy I know to get it fixed. Plus, I got to get I have a NVMe card expander. So I'm in the process of acquiring four 4 terabyte NVMe M.2 drives that I'm going to put in that card. Then I'm going to have it installed.
Does your case have a hard drive light?
No, no, it has like the it's a new gaming PC, so it has the LED light that lets you know that everything's working and what's going on, and it's turning red and green. So I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just gonna go take it to somebody. I'll pay 200, 150, $200. Because the thing is like I could install the shit myself and troubleshoot it and all that shit, but and I can do all that. But right now, I got my current gaming PC, the one that's not working and was having the issues. That gaming PC was pre-built, and it has really great cable management, like better than I could personally do. And I want it to stay looking neat and tidy. So I'm gonna pay someone to do like I can do the it's like having a car. You can do the part installation, but you want the shit to be all tidy and good looking. And
Yeah.
I don't have the wherewithal or the patience to really do that properly. So I'm gonna pay someone to do it. Basically, that's what it boils down to. I'm gonna pay somebody to do it for me, because that's why you have money.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people, oh man, it's like, look, listen, why would I would rather pay someone to do it for me than do it myself, because I are cheap. I mean, not cheap. It's a time thing. It's really just a time thing. You know,
Yeah.
Pe- you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
do I want to spend, a week troubleshooting all the shit going on? No, I do not. I'd rather pay somebody to do it, which is what I'm going to do. So, yeah. Some people are going to get mad about that, and I don't really care if you get mad. It's my money. Besides, I have some extra income because I my taxes came in, and
Yeah.
you know suffice it to say, my federal taxes were kind of shit, but my state tax returns, ooh man, I am homeboy is balling because I overpaid.
Yeah.
Always overpay, son. Always overpay on your on one of them. Yeah, it's gonna hurt throughout the year, but when tax return season comes in, oh man, you gonna be everything gonna be all right. So
Yeah.
enough said about that. Anyway, yeah. So, but enough about that. Let's talk about gaming. So, a lot of stuff's happened the last few weeks. Um, EA finally had to admit that the game that they pushed out was a steaming pile of shit. Uh, Dragon Age, Dragon Age Inquisition, and the blame game started where everyone's like, "Well, it failed because of this. It failed because of that." I
Mhm.
personally, I think that the real issue, the real reason that game failed was because they waited 10 years to put another installment in that game. You know,
Oh,
if you wait 10 years to put a new installment in a storied IP, yeah, the audience is gonna get tired of waiting. I mean, that's some Duke Nukem Forever shit. You know? Did people forget when Duke Nukem Forever went under? Like if you take forever to do new installment in a game, like do you think people are just supposed to just continue waiting for a new installment like forever? Does that make sense? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
it's like how long should you wait before you move on? You know, what is an appropriate amount of time? And that's functionally what people were doing. They just like they waited forever to put a new game in the series. They waited till the end of time, and then they got mad when people were like, "Look, we're not going to spend all our time waiting for this shit." I mean, I
Yeah,
can understand it. You know, it's like you're dating somebody, and like they're making you wait for stuff, and it's like, well, how long should I wait? Because I can't do
yeah,
everything. It's like I got stuff I want to do too.
yeah,
You mentioned that people get mad. They're like, oh, how could you say that?
yeah. What game was this again?
It was Dragon Age, the latest Dragon Age Veilguard.
Yeah, yeah, they made people wait too long for the next game. Wasn't even very good.
I mean, having played it, there's moments of this game is kind of good, but then you realize that like BioWare as we know it doesn't exist anymore. The BioWare that was making games like Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, Neverwinter Nights, no, not Neverwinter, Baldur's Gate. That Dragon Age doesn't exist anymore. That Dragon
Yeah,
Age is gone. Okay? That Dragon Age is dead. Doesn't exist anymore. You know? And the Dragon Age that made Veilguard is the Dragon Age that basically said, "Hey, we want to make a online basically an online looter shooter that had a shitty single player that was mostly multiplayer."
yeah,
This is the same studio that basically said, "Hey guys, we're going to add a multiplayer component to Mass Effect 3." Why? Cuz we want to. You know, this is the same uh this is the same BioWare that fucking made that made Dragon Age 2 in a year. And they just kept on where that whole game is called recycled asset the game because that's what it is. It's just a series of fucking recycled assets over and over and over again. And I mean, that's the world we live in, y'all.
yeah.
And you mention that to people and they get mad. They're like, oh, well, BioWare, you know, BioWare is not BioWare as we know it. The BioWare that made those games that people love, that BioWare doesn't exist anymore. It's dead.
Yeah.
The BioWare that made Mass Effect, that made Jade Empire, that BioWare is gone. It's dead and buried. And I know some people are gonna get mad. They're gonna be like, "Oh, don't. Why'd you say that?" Y'all know good and hell well that BioWare is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
And you know this. Like no one in their right mind would ever say that BioWare is what it used to be. It's not. BioWare is done. Okay, EA knows it. They broke up the studio. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're working on Mass Effect, whatever the fuck it is. They're working on the next Mass Effect. No, they aren't. That studio is done. The name is still up there, but those people are done. Okay, they're done. Um, and you want to know what killed Veilguard? Here's what killed Veilguard. Three things. First of all, in my opinion, now I could be wrong. First of all, they waited too long between installments. It was too goddamn long. Like, you shouldn't wait 10 years between Inquisition and the next Dragon Age game. In between those two games, we had fucking Anthem, which was a bomb. Mass Effect Andromeda, which was a bomb. What other games did BioWare come out with? They were working on SWOTOR, The Old Republic, which is which started out as a fucking World of Warcraft clone with Dragon Age plastered all over it.
They,
Star Wars plastered all over it.
they hyped that game up for so long.
Well, here's the thing:
Growing up.
SWOTOR is not a bad game. It's not a bad
Yeah.
MMO. It's just when it came out, it was because I got it when it came out because I was like, oh, it's basically World of Warcraft. It's a less grindy World of Warcraft with better storytelling, with a Star Wars motif. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But if you're a
Yeah.
Star Wars fan, which I am a huge Star Wars fan, it's fun. But once you get past the storyline, it's like, oh, this is just a World of Warcraft clone.
Yeah.
Except, like the DNA, like, okay, the shit that should have been in that game would have broken it as an MMO.
Yeah.
Like, if they had taken the DNA from KOTOR and KOTOR 2 and put it in that game, like having a Jedi being able to heal anybody. Can't have that because that breaks it as a World of Warcraft clone. Having a more fluid role playing. Now, here's the thing: if you play a game like Guild Wars does the same thing.
Yeah.
Guild Wars lets you basically create a character that can do practically anything. But,
Yeah.
Guild Wars is Guild Wars 2 isn't trying to be a World of Warcraft clone.
Yeah.
Guild Wars is its own thing. Whereas SWOTOR, from the start, was it's like, instead of having the Alliance and the Horde, you've got the Empire and the Republic. Light side,
Yeah.
dark side. Like, every single class in that game is just a Star Wars motif version of a WoW class. Like, instead of rogues, you have fucking the rebels, the Republic spy, and the Imperial agent. Like, instead of wizards and necromancers, you've got fucking Jedi, the Jedi counselor and the Sith Inquisitor. Like, it's all the same shit. It's the same. It's like literally. Except the story is way better. Like the story, SWTOR's story. If you could take that story writing acumen and apply it to other MMOs would be better story wise.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. You know, you do what you got to do, and people get mad. Anyway, let's see. I think we've got one more topic to cover before we move on to free topic and unpopular opinion. Let me look it up. Let's see here. Ah, yes, here it is. The 10 RPGs that people were too harsh on.
Yeah. What are they?
I saved the
Oh,
article and it started at 6. So I had to go all the way back. I had to roll it all the way back and put it in the chat section. I have more topics, but I'm trying to. I don't want to keep people here that long because people got shit to do.
yeah.
Today, people got shit to do. Me, I'm going to the movies later on tonight, and people don't want to spend all day with this bullshit. Okay, number 10, Pal World.
That was early access. I can see why people were harsh on it first.
Yeah. I liked Pal World.
Games. Yeah.
I liked Pal
Early
World.
access games can be hit or miss.
Even when it was early access, I'm like, this is actually pretty good, and I think it's better than any of the Pokemon games we've gotten in the modern times. Like all the Pokemon games that are on the Switch, Pal World is better than those games. I said it, and if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. Some people are gonna get mad. How could you say that? Y'all know that shit to be true. Y'all know good and hell well that y'all know good and hell well that the Pokemon company's games are so fucking safe. They're so safe, and they take no risk. They don't do anything new to upgrade that shit. Anyway, number 9, Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. I didn't get those games, but I think I have the 1 through 3 remaster for the GOG from GOG. I got it free through Amazon Prime, like Twitch Prime, whatever. I like Tomb Raider. I like Lara Croft. People were mad because it's janky and old and all that shit and dated. But I'm like, the first 3 Tomb Raider games are old and janky and dated. I mean, you have a supposed lady who has a PhD. She went to school. Lara Croft is a highly educated archaeologist. She went to school. She got her bachelor's in archaeology. She apparently has a master's in archaeology, and she has a PhD in archaeology. But she's still going around wearing booty shorts and a tight ass t-shirt. Look, I wish PhDs, archaeologists looked like that all the time. Shit, maybe I would have gotten a degree in archaeology. Like, shit, hell yeah. What are we studying? I don't give a fuck. I just follow her around. Look at them booty shorts. Look at that shit right there. Look at it. Look. Let me ask you a question. If someone told you had your professor in archaeology look like either Harrison Ford or Lara Croft, which class would you go to? Enough said, okay? The women would go to the one, I'm talking like prime Indiana Jones Harrison Ford, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, Harrison Ford. Hell yeah, women would be going to the one with Harrison Ford in it, and heterosexual women, and the men would be going to Lara Croft's class. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's in there wearing booty shorts and a t-shirt. Shit. Be like, Yes. And they be getting A's too. You don't pay attention to shit. I'm paying attention to this class. I'm I'm paying attention to everything. I'm taking notes, taking pictures too. Not only am I auditing the class, I'm videotaping. Anyway, my point is this. The Resident Evil 3 remake. I disagree with that argument. The problem with that game is that it removed entire sections, and it was actually shorter than the original game. You can't re-release a game and have it have less content. That'd be like Nintendo doing the remaster for Xenoblade Chronicles X and like ripping out literally a third of the game. You know, it's like, oh yeah, we took out a third of the game and lowered the level cap. The level cap in that game, by the way, is 60. Lowered it down to 40.
Yeah.
And took out a third of the content. Like, that's basically what Capcom did with that re-release. But personally, I think when they re-released that game, they probably released that game to meet a deadline. It was rushed.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, if you're going to re-release something, my rule of thumb is like if you're going to do a remake or a remaster, if it's a remaster, you need to up-res it so that it looks good on newer hardware or software. Like it needs to be up to the new standards of the current console generation. And you need to keep the soul of the old game while making it look pretty. If it's a remake, you either need to reinterpret but maintain the essence of that game. You can't strip out content and make it like less than it was before. Like the old version shouldn't be the definitive version of that game.
Yeah.
That's not right. I'm sorry. You know, like the definitive version of certain Nintendo games is the old version, not the new version. Because they strip shit out of the new versions of these games. And that ain't right. So, yeah. Number 7, Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade 2. I'm going to take that down. Well, okay. I didn't play the first game. I didn't play the second game. But, I mean, I didn't play that game. So, you know, I guess. I don't know. Number 6, Starfield. I'm going to say something that's going to be a little bit controversial. Starfield is not a bad game. Starfield is a Bethesda game. And Bethesda hasn't made a really good game in years. I would say the last good Bethesda game that Bethesda has made was Oblivion. Skyrim is overly simplified in order to appeal to a mass market. Fallout 3 was shit. Fallout 4 was an action game with a Fallout skin on it. Basically, if you want to know what Starfield really is, take Fallout 4, make the gunplay even better, give everyone jetpacks, and you've got Starfield. And it's in space. If you didn't like Fallout 4, you're not going to like Starfield. The only good thing about Starfield is that it doesn't have a voice protagonist, so you can basically make your character be who you want it to be. And there's space. Like you can fly around. The space combat's pretty good. Aside from that, it's, you know, It's a Bethesda game. Like, here's the thing: Bethesda believes their own bullshit. They're like, we create worlds, we make great games. No, you make great moddable games that people mod to make more enjoyable. Your base games are shit. Yes, I said it. Their base games aren't very good. But agree, disagree, don't care.
I don't really care.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay. Next, Wuthering Waves. Never heard of it. Didn't
I
play
heard of it
it.
either. Yeah,
Next. Yeah. Tunic. Uh Tunic looks like it's going to be a Legend of Zelda Link to the Past game. And then you play it and you realize, oh, this is a Souls game and it's hard. But I
yeah,
liked it. I thought it was pretty good. What?
yeah. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, that's what I
Looks
thought.
pretty.
What?
Yeah, looks pretty good. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it's more of a Souls game, but it looks like it's a Legend of Zelda game, but it's a Souls game. It doesn't help that they got a little bit too clever in the guidebook, like the player manual, the in-game player
Yeah,
manual is fucking like it's kind of like playing the original Legend of Zelda where you had to draw your own map and you didn't know what like after the first 2 3 dungeons you didn't know what the fuck you were doing if you weren't used to playing that game. It's like that where it's like god damn for real. Which is why when I play Tunic, I play it with a trainer that basically makes it more of a Legend of Zelda game. So like infinite stamina, so you can dodge as much as you want to. Changes it up, turns it into more of a Legend of Zelda game. But I like Legend of Zelda games. Star Wars
yeah,
Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws. I don't think people were too hard on it. The game is basically a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a fucking Far Cry game with a Star Wars skin. Except
yeah,
it's very stealth forward, and like people forget. You know, Ubisoft doesn't make good games anymore. It's become the Fallout. It's become the Far Cry, Assassin's Creed factory. Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Just Dance.
yeah,
And instead of being, you know, instead of actually trying to do something interesting with the license, they just made a fucking stealth game. So it's like Far Cry combined with Assassin's Creed with a Star Wars skin. And I don't like, here's the thing: if you get like big companies are risk averse, they're not going to do something new and different with an IP when they can just take something they already know how to do and put that skin on it. What were you expecting?
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, number two, Astrobot. It's fucking Astrobot. What do you expect? I mean, it's Sony. Sony doesn't make good games. Astrobot, you want to know
Yeah,
why Astrobot won Game of the Year in 2024? Because nothing fucking came out that people were happy about. All right?
yeah. Pretty much.
Black Myth
Yeah,
Wukong wasn't going to get it because it's a Chinese game and it's a Souls game. Yeah, it looks amazing. The arts, the gameplay is great, but it's a fucking Souls like. And unless you're Elden Ring, unless you're the people who make Elden Ring, you're not gonna fucking get, you know, you're not gonna win that shit.
yeah,
The number one game that people were way too harsh on, Dragon's Dogma 2. I mean, Dragon's Dogma is basically Capcom's take on a dragon on a Dungeons and Dragons game. It's basically like imagine a D&D game that's not turn-based where you have to travel the world doing side quests and shit to save the world, but then the ending gets kind of trippy. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? It's like, oh, this is kind of I wasn't anticipating all this other shit. And that's what it is. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
But anyway, That's what it is. Yeah. Anyway, that's my opinion. Um, I guess we're going on to free topic and all that fun shit and unpopular opinion. Do you have anything you'd like to add before we move on, or do you just want to get into unpopular opinion? Give your unpopular opinion. Just get into it.
Um, yeah, we can just move on to unpopular opinion.
Okay. Do you have an unpopular opinion that you would like to go over?
Yeah. It's not the fact that games are looking too good. It's not the fact that we need stronger hardware because the games just look too good. It's the fact that these publishers aren't giving their developers the time or resources to properly optimize their games.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on?
And here's the thing. It doesn't matter that everyone's switching over to Unreal. Even Unreal has to be optimized for the
Yeah.
hardware. Okay? If you don't give your developers time to optimize, then the game is going to be shit.
Yeah.
Period. End of sentence. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can't understand that, not my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Reggie Fils-Aimé said, not my problem. Our competitors say they can't. Third parties say they can't compete with our first party games. That's not my problem. I like that line. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. It's not my problem that 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 they're saying now unless the hardware is so underpowered that it was aged when it came out, like the Switch. Like there were first party games that looked like shit on the Switch, or they didn't look like shit. They were chugging when they first came out. Breath of the Wild struggled on the Switch when it first came out. Certain areas. Okay?
Yeah,
You
I
don't
heard
believe
about
me?
that.
Go to the ruins of the Temple of Time. That's like filled with all those fucking guardians where they're shooting at you and have them shoot at you at the same time. Struggles. It's chugging to maintain frame rates in that area. Because the hardware was shit to start with.
Yeah.
People are like, oh man, the new Switch is going to be $399. Good. Charge more. Have better hardware.
Yeah.
Okay? You're still paying less than if you got a gaming PC. You know how much my new gaming PC costs? Like $2,000.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, actually no, it was less than that. It was like with the coupon, it was like before the coupon, it was like 24 something, and with the coupon, it went down to like 19 something plus shipping, so 1975, but almost $2,000 with taxes. It was over $2,000. Okay, and you know what? I can get 4K on my shit.
Yeah.
I also have a 7900 XTX in that motherfucker, so it better be able to do 4K.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay? Yes, I can do 4K solid if I want to. 60 frames per second. I can go up to 144 frames per second if I want to. I don't, but I could. But, I mean, like, gamers need to understand that shit and stop being like, PlayStation 5, I got 4K textures. No, you don't. You don't. Your shit's doing 1080p or maybe even 1200p, and it's up-resing it. It's using upscaling to get it up to 2K or 4K textures, but it's not natively running that shit at 4K. You want to know why? Because your shit was $599.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not going to be able to buy a machine at $600 that's going to be able to do 2K or 4K natively, maybe until like a decade passes from now. And then you're going to be complaining because the next biggest thing is going to be 8K and 12K. And your shit's not going to be able to do that shit natively. There you go. Anyway, that's my opinion. I could be wrong. You have anything to add?
Nah.
Okay. Anyway, that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Do you have anything you'd like to pimp out, show off, talk about?
Still uploading music. Uh, Uploaded a song last night on Project Open Mic. Go and check it out. Temple of the Cursed Princess. Temple of the Cursed Princess Abigail. That's the name of the song.
All right. Okay. Oh. Well, I haven't uploaded shit. This is the first upload I've done in like 2.5 weeks. I'm sorry. Shit has been going on in my life. Um, uh, Unlike what you people may I'll share a little bit of personal. I'm a federal employee, and as you can understand, shit's been kind of wild lately. um, Enough said about that. Anyway, that's the end of the cast. We'll try and do something next week, Wednesday, same bat time, same bat place. Boy, it is what it is. It is what it is. 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 Anyway, that's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, play your games, etc., etc. Peace.
Peace.
Let me exit on out this shit. End stream. And yeah. I gotta